the question that splits every 20-something. You keep hearing the same fight online. Save every dollar or enjoy your youth before it disappears. One side tells you life is short, so buy the ticket. Take the trip. Get the shoes you want before you get too old to enjoy them. The other side tells you every unnecessary purchase is a future disaster waiting to happen. And if you are not saving aggressively right now, you are basically choosing to be poor later. Both sides sound convincing. Both sides are also selling you something, whether it is a lifestyle, a course, or just engagement on a video. And if you have ever felt guilty for buying a coffee or guilty for not booking a flight because everyone else seemed to be traveling, stay with me for the next few minutes, because the real answer is not sitting on either side of this argument. Stick around, because the third option almost nobody talks about is the one that actually works in real life. Lesson 1. The fake version of enjoying life. Here's something most people will not admit out loud. A huge amount of what gets called enjoying your youth is not really enjoyment at all. It's performance. You see someone post 9 photos from a restaurant that took 2 weeks of saving to afford, and you assume they are living well. What you do not see is the instant noodles for the rest of the month, or the quiet stress before the credit card statement arrives. Someone books a trip they cannot actually afford because everyone else in their feed seems to be traveling, and they come home with memories they can barely enjoy because the bill is already waiting for them. This is not freedom. This is a very expensive performance of freedom, and the companies selling limited edition sneakers, last-minute flights, and once-in-a-lifetime experiences know exactly how to make that performance feel like self-care instead of what it really is, which is a marketing strategy aimed straight at your paycheck. But before you swing all the way to the other extreme, keep watching, because saving everything has its own trap, and it is just as dangerous as the one you just heard. Lesson 2. Why people who have been through hard times all say the same thing. Ask anyone who has actually lost a job with zero savings what that month felt like. Ask anyone who had a family emergency and had to borrow money from people who made them feel small for even asking. They will almost all tell you the same thing. Money set aside is not about being cheap. It is about having options when life stops asking for your permission. A company can decide to lay off an entire department overnight with no warning at all. A landlord can raise the rent with 30 days' notice and expect you to just figure it out. A hospital visit can show up on a random Tuesday and demand thousands of dollars before you have even processed what happened. If you have nothing set aside, every one of those moments turns into a full-blown crisis that follows you for years. If you have even a small cushion, that same moment becomes an inconvenience you can actually handle without falling apart. That difference is not really about the money itself. It is about which version of your future self you are protecting right now, today, with the choices you're making this week. So, does that mean you should save every single dollar and live like you have nothing at all? Not even close. And here is exactly why that extreme fails just as badly as the first one. Lesson 3. The other extreme that nobody warns you about. There is a version of saving that quietly destroys people just as much as overspending does, and almost nobody talks about it. This is the person who skips every dinner with friends, refuses to spend a single dollar on a skill or class that could genuinely grow their income, and treats every purchase made on themselves as a personal failure. This is not discipline. This is slow-motion self-neglect wearing a responsible-looking costume. Because here is the part people miss completely. Money that never gets invested in your health, your relationships, or your own growth is money that quietly shrinks your future earning power year after year. Someone who never spends on learning a new skill often ends up stuck in the exact same job for a decade, while the person who invested a few $100s in a certification or a class ends up doubling their income within a few years. Your 20s and 30s are not only about protecting money that already exists, they are about building the version of you who can earn more, connect more, and handle more later in life. Extreme saving without any investment in yourself is not real safety. It is stagnation, wearing a disguise that looks responsible from the outside. So, if both extremes are traps, what is actually left for the rest of us? Keep watching, because the system that solves this problem is far simpler than you think. Lesson 4. The system that actually works. Here is the approach that quietly separates people who build real financial security from everyone else, still arguing about this online. Every time money comes in, split it into 3 clear purposes instead of one confused pile that disappears without explanation. The first portion is untouchable savings, money that exists purely as your emergency floor, the kind you do not touch unless your life genuinely depends on it. The second portion is your growth fund, money that goes toward things that make future you more capable. A course, a certification, a networking opportunity, a piece of equipment for a side skill, anything that increases your earning power or opens a door that was previously closed to you. The third portion is guilt-free spending, money you are allowed to enjoy completely without a single ounce of shame, because you already protected your future and invested in yourself first. This is not about controlling every dollar with anxiety or tracking every cent in a spreadsheet at midnight. It is about giving every dollar a clear job so you never have to wonder later where it all went. People who follow a system like this are not restricting their life at all. They are the ones who actually get to enjoy spending because they already know it is not coming at the cost of their future. Lesson 5. How to tell real enjoyment from manufactured enjoyment. Not all spending is created equal, and this is the part that changes everything once you actually see it clearly. Spending $40 on a book that shifts how you think about money for the rest of your life is not the same as spending $40 trying to keep up with a trend that will be completely forgotten in a month. Saving up to actually see a place you have genuinely dreamed about for years is not the same as booking a trip because everyone in your feed happens to be doing it right now. The real question to ask before almost every purchase is simple. Will this still matter to me a year from now, or am I only doing this because someone else made me feel like I was missing out on something? That one question quietly filters out almost all the spending that leaves people broke and regretful, while still leaving plenty of room for the spending that actually makes life feel full and worth living. Lesson 6. The real advantage of being young. The biggest myth in this entire debate is that youth is measured by how much you spend right now. It is not, and it never was. Youth is measured by how much time you have left to let good decisions quietly compound in your favor. Someone who starts building even a small financial foundation in their 20s is not sacrificing their youth at all. They are using the one advantage that disappears the older you get, which is time itself. The same small effort that feels almost invisible today becomes the exact reason someone else is starting completely over at 40, while you already have real options in front of you. That is not about being cheap or missing out on life. That is about understanding that the years happening right now are the most valuable years you will ever have to build something that actually lasts long after the excitement of any single purchase has faded away. So the real answer was never save everything or spend everything. It was never about choosing one side of an argument and defending it online forever. The people who actually win this debate in real life are the ones who stopped fighting over the extremes and built a simple system instead, protecting their future, investing in themselves along the way, and still enjoying their present without dragging around guilt everywhere they go. You do not need to copy anyone else's version of a good life or prove anything to people who will forget your post by tomorrow. You need a system that lets you sleep at night and still say yes to the things that genuinely matter to you. If this made you rethink how you have been splitting your own money, drop a comment and tell us which lesson hit you the hardest, because that conversation is exactly how people learn to stop guessing with their future. Subscribe if you want more breakdowns like this one, because the next video goes even deeper into building a financial system that actually protects you instead of quietly controlling you.